So Micah Goguen is here, and you have brought an amazing self-portrait. I mean, this is super cool, and you have promised that even if I can't draw really well, I can still do this.
Correct. People are very intimidated by portraits, and so we like to make it super easy, and we're going to just go through some steps that make it very gratifying.
I love hearing that. Let's get started.
All right, so what I've done is I've taken a portrait here and I've just created a little bit of embellishment through a phone app to make it more comic style. So that way it features the contour lines and also the colors a little bit more.
For people who don't know what contour lines are, can you just explain what that is?
Sure. So contour lines are just the outlines or the defining lines of an object or subject. In this case, we're just looking for some of the wrinkles and outside lines of the hair. So I'm going to be working on a clear film, and I'm just going to take the clear film and lay it over the image here so that it acts like a transparency. So that's why it's going to be so easy. We don't have to know how to do the skill building for the drawing. We're just actually going to trace through the clear substrate. So I'm just taped it down to secure it so that way we don't get a lot of wiggling around. And then of course we have the imagery underneath. And I'm going to take these permanent alcohol-based marker. These are dual tips. I want to make sure that I get one of the various tips. And I'm just going to accent some of the key features here. So this is a warm tone. I'd like to have a variation of warm and cool. And again, it doesn't have to be exacting. We're just using it as a template to get an idea of what we want to create for the line and the expressive mark making.
You are working so fast. It's amazing.
Well, I think that if you keep moving, it keeps you out of the brain and keeps you more into the process, because we're all here to have fun and to really express yourself. You know, it's all about keep moving. So I'm going to use just a light warm color, but then I'm also going to use some cool colors here. So warm and cool have a really great contrast, especially when you're trying to create some extra dimension. And we're just building on the comic features that are already available through the embellishment we did with the image in the beginning.
I love how you're not stressing about like exactly tracing or exactly getting it. It feels like you're just letting your artistic license sort of flow freely.
Well, and that's what life, I think, should be about, is just flowing freely and not getting hung up on the obstacles as they emerge. So I'm just going to be able to get a couple of these key features with the glasses. I'm just going to do the dark mark making.
I noticed that you've mentioned several times like key features, important things. When you look at an image like this portrait, do you immediately pick out like what are, almost like a cartoonist would, the defining characteristics?
Thank you. That's a good question. So I'm looking for things that are going to really hold the boundaries and just really accentuate, like glasses. That would be a key characteristic of myself. Maybe there's some favorite earrings. Maybe there's a particular swoop in your hair. So I'm just looking for those suggestive mark makings just to help to define the portrait. So I've got enough of an idea here that I can actually move the image, and this is another great thing too, is that I can actually slide this out and double check myself, and if I'm not happy with it, I can just slide it back in and line it up and then just keep working. So that takes away a lot of the fear and apprehension as well. So as I keep moving through. Now here, I've already got the outlines going, and so now I'm going to do the second phase, which I'm going to take the sketch markers, which are way juicier, and I'm going to be able to flood them with color and then create some more effects. So I have this the correct way, so what I'm going to do is lift it up, and I'm actually going to flip it over. So the permanent ink is on the top side, and then I'm flipping over for the alcohol ink on the back. And then I'm just going to...
And why is that? Does the alcohol ink do something to the permanent marker?
Well, they're both alcohol-based. That's a great question. They're both alcohol-based, and so if I put them both on the same side, when we do the effects with the alcohol later, it's going to actually distort the contour lines that we work so hard to make. So I'm going to take the sketch markers, and you can tell this is just juicy, vibrant color, and it's just going to explode on the film here. It just glosses across.
And again, you're using big, bold strokes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because we're just trying to put in some key placements for the color. I could still look at the image just to get a sense of it. I've done this one a few times. I get to look at me all the time, so it's easy just to kind of place in the color and get it kind of on the sheet.
Well, you're also going for artistic choices more than, let's say, a realistic portrait. So you're really just having fun, you know, and trying to figure it out. Now, how much are you paying attention to stuff like highlights and lowlights and shadows, or are you just sort of messing around?
You know, I think it's always good to pay attention to those key techniques, but really it's not of interest to me. I'm just really trying to play and have fun because I'm going to learn what to do and not to do through the process. So for me, it's going to be more important just, again, to keep moving and just be able to express myself through the energy of the artwork.
And it strikes me that this is actually a good way to learn how to draw, because you start by tracing, and that's sort of your training wheels, and then you kind of take the training wheels off in this step and you know, have to sort of go on your own.
Correct. And you see that it's just flooding out a lot of vibrant color here, and so as I've got enough color down, I see one little space that I missed, I'm actually going to go in and do something more exciting. I'm going to take a brush, and I've got some isopropyl alcohol here, so I'm just going to take a brush, dip it in, tap off the excess, that's important, and I'm just going to go through and just activate the properties of these alcohol pens. So the sketch markers and the permanent markers are both alcohol based, so really you can get the same effects that you would expect with regular alcohol inks, and you can play, and the more...
This is almost like painting with a marker, basically.
Correct. And the more rubbing alcohol that you put down, you get a lot of the pooling and the effects that you are used to when you're thinking.
So here's my question now. If I messed up, which I tend to do, could I erase my mess up basically with the alcohol?
You could. You could just saturate with more alcohol. Now you could get some bleeding into the other colors, but I happen to think that that's very beautiful. You see how the colors are just bleeding together as I continue to work. And so I'm just kind of finessing until I get the whole coverage.
So we've got just about a minute left. So I know that there's a way that we're going to finish this off.
Yeah, so I've actually taken some spray alcohol and I've been able to spray some of the effects on here. So we'll see that this can actually bead up and pool a little bit more.
That is cool. It adds like those little dots and voids of color. Now it almost looks like crayon.
Correct. And then I'm going to take a little bit of acrylic paint and I'm going to get rid of some of the transparency of the film just by adding some paint layers on here with the acrylic paint. And you can just put them in different movements. My secret weapon is this metallic gold. I love the way that it shows through on the film whenever you place it down. So I'm going to put it on again on the back side of the film so that when I flip it over, you'll be able to see the metallic properties of it coming through. We might even glaze a little bit down here on top of the yellow, so you're getting more translucent layers with that.
And then we're going to finish it off. I know you said you're going to use a brayer to put a full layer of color on it.
Correct. So here I've already got the image backwards, and so if I'm looking at the back side of it, you can see the metallic gloss that's coming through. And so what I'm going to do is I've just got some opaque color here. I'm going to take a brayer. I'm going to just roll it out, and then I'm just going to move that solid color to lock in all the existing layers so that I've got nice rich tones on the front of the image.
Because I was going to say, when you're done, it looks amazing, and when you put it in a frame, it's absolutely stunning. What a great idea. I can't wait to give this one a try. Thanks so much, Micah.
Thank you.